Hello and welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. I'm Chrissy and I'm the Mum Boss, and whilst my dog is throwing things around in the background of the office, I'm here to talk to you about some small shifts that I have made in my life in the last 6 months that have made a big impact. I want to talk to you about my life upgrades so far in 2025. And I thought I would share this because I was thinking about some of these things that I'd done last week, and I thought, wow, they've made such a difference to my life. And I wanted to share them with you because I thought that, maybe you want to do some of these things as well. So, as you all know, I am a 45-year-old mum. I am perimenopausal. I am quite often battling with my hormones, normally in the format of being kept awake at night. I have a teenage son. I run a business. I have a needy dog. I have a husband. I have friends. I have family. And sometimes, even for me, even when I talk about change every day, sometimes change feels like it's too big and too overwhelming. And when I was thinking about that, I thought about the incremental changes that I have made. And I know that midlife can feel really overwhelming. I know when you want to make change in your life, it feels like there's too much to fix. You're too tired to even start. And I want to introduce you to the power of making small changes and stacking those, because that really helps with the going all in versus being all out. And I'm not going to this podcast isn't me talking, that doesn't make sense. Isn't me talking to you about I increased my step count by 500 a day. Like, I'm not talking about habit changes. I'm talking about things that I've done that have upgraded my life and allow me, I would say, to maintain my habits. So the first thing that I did this year on the 6th of January was to hire a health and fitness coach, who lots of you have heard me talk about, and she's been on this podcast lots of times as well, the amazing Laura Faye Fitness. And I specifically went to Laura because I knew that she would help me to be super focused on what I was trying to achieve with my body. So I know the habits. I know, working out is not something I have to force myself to do. Mostly walking isn't something I have to force myself to do. Eating protein is not something I have to force myself to do. Neither is drinking water, neither is eating fruit and veg. Like, all of that stuff is locked in for me. But what I wanted was someone who was really going to push me to, I'm going to use this word, sculpt my body and help me to work on the areas of my body that perhaps needed a bit more work, or to catch up with other areas. And the reason I hired a coach to do that rather than do programming for myself is it's really not very easy to coach yourself when it comes to like workouts and stuff. I was just doing the things that I found really easy or I enjoyed, and that's why I have got a big pair of glutes on me, because I really enjoy working out my glutes. I do now, but I didn't before particularly enjoy working on my shoulders. And so I needed someone that was really going to push me and also critique me and keep me accountable, because if you've ever chased your own progress, you know that seeing progress in yourself can be really hard. And so investing in working with Laura has been amazing, because I'll check in some weeks and go, I can't see any changes, I can't, I'm not seeing any progress, and she'll mark up all my pictures and do what I do to my clients, which is show them where they are making changes. And so it's been brilliant. So the first thing I did was, this isn't a small thing, it's quite a big thing. I invested in a one-to-one coach. And that's the first thing I did. The second thing I did was, upon investing in that coach, literally 3 days later, I signed up to do a photo shoot with said coach. And creating that goal for myself, the reason I'm calling that an incremental upgrade is because it gave me something to focus on. I work well with goals. I work well with having something to aim for, with having something to progress towards, and signing up for that photo shoot and giving myself 16 weeks to prepare for it was the goal, the boost, the aim that I needed. And obviously that's heavily tied in with my work with Laura. So two kind of really connected upgrades that I made there. One of them obviously does cost me money. The photo shoot did cost me money, but initially signing up to it didn't. It was just, yeah, I'll do that. The next upgrade is that I bought a spinning bike. So part of doing the photo shoot was that I needed to, particularly in the last kind of 6 to 8 weeks, I needed to do more cardio. And I live a good 15-20 minute, I mean, it's 15 minutes at 6 a.m. in the morning, but any other time, 20 to 30 minute drive away from the gym. And there were some days where all I needed to do was cardio. Now, my cardio is either running at home or going to the gym. And I didn't particularly want to drive 25 minutes to the gym to do a 30-minute cardio session on a Sunday, a Wednesday, and a Monday, which are just my cardio days. So I remember on my way home from Malta, where I went on holiday at Easter, Laura was, she kept sending me these, I said I want to buy a bike, and she kept sending me bikes that she'd found on Facebook Marketplace. And the bike that I got, it was just from someone who literally lived 8 minutes away. I messaged her that morning. I was collecting it 3 hours later. I put it in the car. I took Charlie with me to collect it, and literally told my husband when I was on the way, by the way, I've bought a spinning bike. It's really heavy. It's going to have to stay downstairs until I make room in my office. So what this meant was I wasn't wasting, nearly 3 hours of my time during the week needing to drive to and from the gym. And it meant that I could do that cardio at any point in the day, because for 6 weeks before the shoot I was doing daily cardio. I could do that cardio at any point in the day, and I didn't have to go anywhere to do it. It didn't matter what the weather was. It didn't matter who was in the house. I could do it. And that really helped me to maintain the motivation to do that cardio. And it cost me 60 quid. That bike cost me 60 quid. I think brand new they're about £300. And it helped me to keep the motivation, because I lowered the barrier to entry for myself. If I was needing to go and drive 25 minutes to my gym to use a bike, or I needed to run because I didn't have time to drive to and from the gym, and it was absolutely chucking it down with rain outside, my motivation is going to be so much lower going to try and do that cardio in those situations. Whereas this enabled me to be more consistent, I didn't feel like it was eating into my time too much, and it enabled me to get the results that I got for the photo shoot. Okay, for the first week, I definitely had a bit of a sore bum from sitting on that seat, but I got over it. Next upgrade that I made was saying yes to joy. I realised that life was starting to feel a bit functional and feel a bit grey, particularly being working towards the shoot and that being very regimented and very strict. So I said yes to going to my very first festival with my oldest school friend Jenny, on the Isle of Wight. So I wasn't just going to a day festival. I wasn't just going to a festival down the road where I could have got home if I wanted to. No, I was going to the Isle of Wight, camping. I don't like camping. And taking 5 days out of my business, away from my family, to go and do it. And yes, I felt nervous about doing it. I felt a bit guilty about taking that time off of work. I felt excited, and during the festival at times I felt very, very upset because I was not enjoying the camping. But ultimately, saying yes to that joy, saying yes to that experience, made me feel alive. And it taught me an ultimate lesson, which is joy, adventure, spontaneity are all part of wellness as well. It's not just food, it's not just fitness, it's not just getting your steps in and drinking your water. It's having those fun times, those amazing times with your friends and your family. They're just as important as well. My next upgrade then. Oh, and just on the saying yes to joy, I've done lots of things like this as well. So it wasn't just the Isle of Wight festival. So I'm recording this on Monday, the 7th of July. Tonight I'm going into London to see Gabby Bernstein, who has written lots of self-development books. She's a motivational speaker. She's big on manifestation. So I'm going to see her. I've been to see Mel Robbins. I've been to day festivals since the Isle of Wight. So saying yes to doing lots and lots of joyful things. Right, this is quite a big one, but you can make this appropriate to yourself as well. I have completely redecorated my office. If you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify at the moment, you will see the wall behind me, and you will have noticed this for the last month and a half. The wall behind me is now Mum Boss Pink. I've got an LED logo behind my head that says the Mum Boss. I've got new artwork. I've got a brand new pink plushy chair that, let's be honest, mainly Henry sits in. I redid my office. I not only did the thought of doing this came about when I bought the bike, because I knew in order to fit the bike into my office, because we couldn't leave the bike in the living room the whole time, but in order to fit the bike into the office, I needed to get rid of the sofa that was in here. It needed a reshift. We needed a rejig. And I thought, I'm going to get rid of the sofa, but I need to replace it. I need somewhere else to sit other than my desk. And I thought, I'm not just going to shift things around. The wall behind me was a horrible mustard yellow colour. And I'm happy to admit this. I found it really hard to keep my office tidy. Excuse me. Because I didn't enjoy being in here. And that's nothing to do with not enjoying my work. I just didn't enjoy the environment. And so I knew if I was going to get rid of that sofa and I was going to replace the sofa with a chair and I was going to put the bike up here, that I wanted to do more with the space. And the other 3 walls in this office have not been painted. Okay, I just went out on bank holiday Sunday, one of the ones in May. I can't remember whether it was the beginning of May or the end of May, but anyway, I went out, and I think Tom thought I was going to get some like magnolia paint or something, and I came back with Mum Boss Pink paint, and he was like, are you really going to paint your wall that colour? And I said to him, yes, I absolutely am going to paint my wall that colour, because like, that's my colour. This is my office. This is where I spend at least 5 days of my week. The colour makes me happy. It's part of who I am. Yes, I'm doing it. And that's what I did. I came home. I forgot the masking tape, so we had to go back again. And I painted my wall on that Sunday. Couldn't sleep, so started painting. Did the second coat at about 4 a.m. the next Monday. I bought the sign. Tom found me the artwork, and I bought the chair and sold the sofa, and I absolutely love the space I've created now. I mean, my pink chair has to have lots of covers over it because, you know, I don't want the dog to get it dirty. It's a pink velvet chair, but just changing the colours, changing the decorations. I've put like a lovely candle in here. I've got new lighting. I've got plants. It has given me more creativity, more clarity, less dread. And again, I just want to go back to, it's not dread about coming and working. I love my work, but this space did not feel inspiring to me, and I didn't want to sit here. And now I love sitting here. I love being here. So, you know, you don't have to completely redo a whole room. You can just change a space just by shifting the furniture around a little bit, buying a plant, buying a candle, buying a different light. You know, it doesn't have to be massive shifts. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you is that I have made some huge upgrades to my business and investments in my business, because I wanted to help my clients more. I wanted to grow my impact. I ultimately want to grow my business. So I've invested in more coaching for myself. I've invested in a menopause qualification for myself. I've invested in a new platform for my clients. And you know, other little upgrades, like just improving that background experience for them, and that technology and that branding. You know, I've also done things like I did my photo shoot. Okay, that wasn't 100% for my business. Part of it was for me, but I've also signed up to do another branding shoot in a couple of weeks' time. What else have I done? I've booked to go on some retreats this year to develop myself. I am investing in myself and in my business so that I can make a bigger and more positive impact with my clients and anyone else that decides to come and work with me. And that's created such a mindset shift for me. It's not just a financial investment. It's like fully declaring that I am serious about my mission to change the lives of women, and it's fully backing myself that I know that I am already doing that and I can continue to do that. So that mindset shift from doing that investment is huge. So why am I telling you all of this? So some of these investments have been quite significant. Some of these upgrades have been quite significant. You know, okay, the bike, not a huge significant monetary upgrade. It's a space upgrade. But you know, £60 isn't a huge amount of money in the grand scheme of things. But that has been a game changer for how productive I am and what I can do with my time. You know, like I said, initially when I was going to change my room, I definitely knew I wanted to get a new chair and I knew I wanted to paint the wall. I didn't think that I was going to get a logo light. I didn't think I was going to get artwork. You know, so it kind of grew arms and legs, but these things all stacked up with each other, creating more energy for me, more clarity for me, more joy for me. You know, ultimately saying yes to some of the joyful, fun, social activities that I've done over the last 6 months, some of them didn't cost very much at all. Some of them, the Isle of Wight, for example, was like a small holiday. But each of these things are upgrades to my life, and I want you to really think about the small upgrades you can make to your life this week to improve your life. Could it be that you know, I don't know, like thinking about my office, one of the other things that it encouraged me to do is every night before I finish work, I write my to-do list for the next day, and then I tidy my desk, and that's something I never used to do. So how can you like make a small upgrade in your life this week that is then going to roll into other areas of your life and just make you feel completely awesome? This is about building strength, and I don't mean physical strength. I mean, mental strength, confidence, vibrancy, one day, one decision at a time. And you can do that by making these small incremental upgrades to your life. And I really want you to think about what that could be and start to implement it straight away. And like other things that all of this has encouraged me to do is, and I'm writing some social media content about this as well, but just things like I've promised myself that I will always make myself feel great in what I'm wearing and how I'm showing up. And most days that will mean I have makeup on, but most days certainly it means I feel great in the outfit that I'm wearing and that I haven't just chucked something on just because it was the first thing I grabbed. And that all comes from, having my office done and feeling like great when I sit down in front of my camera and start recording something or start chatting to clients. So if you would like to get a hold of my 7 micro upgrades for mums in midlife, I've created you a little checklist of ideas and things that you can do to upgrade your life. All you need to do is come and find me on social media and send me the word upgrade, and I would love to send you this little checklist that I've created. But I'd love to hear as well, I'd love to hear how you're going to upgrade your life this week. Just one small, tiny little thing at a time. It doesn't have to be a big grand gesture. It could be that you buy yourself a new pair of socks to wear with your trainers when you go for a walk or when you go to the gym. I love new socks. In Sports Direct, they do really lovely coloured Nike socks. They're like shades of kind of dusky rose pink colours, and they're so comfy and soft. I definitely recommend those. Anyway, I've absolutely loved recording this podcast episode. Let me know your little incremental upgrades that you're going to make to your life, and don't forget, let me know by messaging the word upgrade if you would like my 7 upgrades for midlife mums. Have a gorgeous week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.